Hes, it's a pleasure to having you here. Can you tell us a bit about you? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm Henrik, or if you're from the 4Pages community, you probably know me as Hest1805.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm 24 years old. I'm from Norway, basically from the capital, Oslo. I've been living very close to the capital almost my entire life, in a very densely populated area, almost like a city. Right now I'm studying. I'm doing an engineering degree, uh, focusing on physics in my fifth year. So next year I'll have my master's degree. Um, well, I used to be an active chess player, but then I got into 4-player chess instead.
Do you find time to play chess, to maybe to train?
To play regular chess, you
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, well, I don't spend all the time on regular chess anymore. I like to spectate the big tournaments with the best players in the world. Like I'm a big fan of Carlsen, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I play myself for fun, but I'm not really training regular chess anymore. That's something I did maybe 5 years ago when I was in high school. I played a lot of regular chess, went to a lot of tournaments, but these days it's more I have a more relaxed uh, way of like playing chess.
Uh, you don't play frequently, or you don't play at all at this moment?
At this moment, no, not at all.
Ah, okay.
No regular chess, no. I quit competitive chess when I was 19.
Okay. But regardless, you see the match, and you follow your players.
Right, you can say I'm a chess fan, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have friends who want to play with me or something, yeah, I can play some games. It's fun. I mean, I still appreciate chess. I still like chess. It's just not something I take seriously anymore.
Okay. Even four-player chess.
So 4-player chess is a bit of a different matter. 4-player chess is basically what I do. I find it more interesting. I've been doing it now for several years, and I'm also an admin. So yeah, it's basically 4-player chess. That's my thing. I learned chess. I was like 6 or 7. I learned at school actually. We had this chess program we could do after school, like one day every week. So I learned the rules there. Kind of got introduced to the game. And then when I was 15, like I had a long break after that. I didn't really play anything at all. And then when I was like 15, 16, I thought maybe I should try to get better at chess. And so I started practicing a lot, and I got a coach. Participated in some big tournaments, some abroad. Like I played once in Denmark and once in Iceland. And that was like 3 years from 16 to 19. I played a lot of chess, lots of competitions, national competitions, stuff like that. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. I really didn't like to lose, especially in classical chess. Like it was much worse to lose than it was good to win. Uh, so sometimes at some point I started losing motivation. I didn't want to play anymore, uh, and I just figured it got too serious. So it's better for me to just do chess for fun when I felt like it, and not do a lot of competitions anymore.
And at this moment, do you think that you are still like that, or you feel like prepared?
Maybe more mature, more able to handle defeats and not take it personally. So that's very possible. Uh, so that I might do that in the future. Like I'm not ruling out that possibility. Uh, and about 4-player chess, the thing with 4-player chess is that when you lose in 4-player chess, uh, you don't feel as stupid as when you lose in regular chess. Like this game is so complex. There's 3 other players, so much happening uh, that it's not like this. Like regular chess is very like this like duel between 2 players, like who's the smartest kind of. But that's why make it easier for me to like take 4-player chess seriously while just having fun at the same time. Is that it's kind of chaotic and messy and lots of stuff happening. So when I lose, it can be annoying, of course, but generally I take it much less personally than I do when I lose in regular chess.
Yes, I get it. And for players, how long have you been playing 4-player chess?
Well, I joined a bit more than 3 years ago, I think it is now, when a friend of mine showed me this YouTube video with Jon Ludvig Hammer. He is a Norwegian grandmaster. He streams and makes videos, and he had a video where he was trying 4-player chess for the first time. And well, my friend knew that I was into chess, so he thought I might be interested, and I thought it looked very interesting. So as soon as I saw the video, I decided to try the game myself, and then I started playing a lot, and I quickly became one of the highest ranked players. That was fall 2017, and it was in free for all because back then free for all was the only mode, and that's what I was interested in. So
Okay. When you started to play for chess player, who were the top players at that moment? Who were the guy that or the people that you used to see or?
yeah, well, things were a bit different back then because many of the players in the leaderboard weren't active players, like they almost never played, and many of them were also cheating, like they paired up with one other player all the time. You know, in free for all, it's quite easy to cheat, like in general, because if you have a friend, you can try to play with your friend every game and just play together. And there was no mechanism for catching such cheaters and blocking them from the game. So leaderboard was full of people playing with a friend every game. And to be honest, I don't remember a lot of the like big names back then. Remember Raku, who is now one of the big teams players, was on the top of the free for all leaderboard. I remember. I think when I started playing. He's a Polish grandmaster.
Rook sees Rook avec with a number, no?
Yeah, yes, there's a number. I don't remember the number. But,
Me neither.
But later on, the one player I remember in particular is Spaxi, a Russian player that I played with many times. That was for a long time the only player that I thought was around my level at the game, and they were fighting a lot for the top spot when the admins were able to remove the cheaters.
At this moment, do you find that these have changed? That we don't have so many cheaters, or that admin can catch easier
Yes, yes,
the cheaters than before, or?
yes, for sure. I think the admins are now very good at finding players that play together for all. Like, it's not that hard to spot, you know, because you just have to look and see if the same two players play every game together. That's very suspicious. So if you see that, I mean, I'm also an admin, so I'm used to doing this. If you see that and you see that they try to cooperate together, then that's not allowed, and then they're probably going to receive a play ban. So definitely all the players now that are in the leaderboard, in all the leaderboards, are all strong players and legit players, and I'm very grateful for that.
At this moment, why aren't you playing that much FFA, free for all?
Okay, well that's first of all, I'm not sure if that's a true statement. I'm not sure I'm playing a lot less now than I did before. Maybe I'm playing a bit less. But let's say I could play more free for all. The reason is that I think the game can be improved. Basically, like I think there are flaws in the game, and I've been quite convinced about this now for for more than half a year. Like first, I thought that solo was sort of the improvements, and I think it's true that free for all right now is basically a worse version of solo. Because to me it doesn't make any sense that the fourth place loses a ton of rating, and then second and third lose nothing. Like, doesn't really make much sense at all. It's often not very fair, like who ends up getting checkmated first. Depends on the other players. So I definitely will prefer solo, but there's a completely different matter that struck my mind, which was this spring, and I wrote a long forum post about it, about things that I think should be changed in free-for-all. And the main thing is that I think the king value is way too high. I don't think there's any reason why the king value should be 20 points or even anything like high at all. And secondly, I also believe that the game would be very much improved if the capture the king rule was implemented in free-for-all.
How many points would you propose?
For king?
For king.
Well, my proposition initially was to put it at 0 points, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think that's quite okay. But then I thought,
in that way, we are going to lose like the combinations, like the tactic to do checkmate.
But that's where I think you're wrong, because I think that the king is such an incredibly valuable piece anyways. Like, losing your king is devastating. So if you have a tactical combination to checkmate someone or take their king, it's still gonna be good even if you're not getting points for it. So I don't think that's the case. We should try to create a game that works the best way possible. Like, one inherent problem that is, like you just said it yourself, which is with free-for-all and solo, is that you don't have to do much. Oftentimes, the players that win are players that sit and wait. And this can lead to very long games that aren't necessarily very spectator-friendly. So that's another aspect of this. As you said, with a lower value king, you will have to be more active. You have to join the action. Which I think is a big improvement.
Yes.
Because you worry a bit less
about
about
it. Maybe I don't know, 15 or 14
I mean, we can try different things.
Because
I think 15 is still a lot.
Queen is the queen has already 9 points.
Right, but the thing with the queen is also a very powerful piece. So you can generally expect to get 9 points for your queen. The problem with having high king value is that you don't have anything to do with your king. Like, that's something you notice if you try to play the Hyper Fiesta format, is that even if you don't only have your king left, you still have something to do. You can still try to trade off your king for something. And so you never, in such a game, you never have like a spot where you can't do anything, and you just have to sit and wait. So you can say that also comes down to what kind of game you like. And I don't think the current game is terrible, but in my opinion, reducing the king value just makes the game better.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't know how many points, but yes, that will be. I don't remember how many points did you propose.
So what I proposed in the end was 3 points for the king.
3 points for king.
And this exists now, so this is something you can play if you want. Then you have the variant rating, and also quite recently, the possibility to play with the 10-point king was also made available. So if you think that 3 is a little bit too little, then you can try 10. Maybe that's more to your taste, but it's all out there. So
I agree. Well, I will agree.
So I really recommend people to try to play with lower value kings and try it out and see how it affects the game, because I think it's very interesting.
But wait, can we give value to the pieces as we want?
No, it's only the king. It's only the king that you can choose.
Okay, at this moment.
The king you can choose between 3, 10, 20, and 40.
Okay.
But other pieces you can't choose.
Okay.
And then there's also the capture the king mechanic that you can also choose if you want to try. So yeah, it's all out there.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, can be a bit hard to find. But it's all after.
Yes, at this moment I'm very interested to take the conversation to the point that you were new here and FF and Free for All, and tell us a little bit like your experience, like how did you grow up in this middle, and like
Right.
the changes that have you see and
Yes, I mean there are tons of things I can say about this topic. At first, when I started playing, when the game was quite new, it was very, very different from the way it is now, at least at the higher rated games. At first, you try to play it like it's regular chess because that's what you used to. You try like normal chess openings and see how it goes. I mean, that's what I was trying. Lots of people were playing the queen's pawn first and just trying to push it all the way
trying
up to
to
the queen. That was a very common strategy. I did that a lot myself as well. Uh, I would say that generally in the beginning, was two things that was important. One was to have a safe king, and the other was to be able to push pawns fast, to get as many queens as possible, because nobody really knew about the sort of aggressive teaming openings that we know about today. At least nobody did in free for all, anyways. So it was all about like finding the best king setups. You can notice that all the highest rated players learn fast how to make the king safe. I remember one thing that I learned quite fast is that first of all you want to go to the right with your king, because the player to the left is very dangerous, because if he attacks you then the other two can join the attack. You want to go to the right. And also you want to try to get the close pawn structure before you commit your king to the right or to the left. Try to get like a close pawn so you can open up. And also,
but that kind of knowledge or things that you have recognized, they belong also they belong as well to the regular chess. Like
yes.
if you want to castle to that side, or if you want to attack in at the other side, so you decide to close at this flank or to open that flank. The yes.
Yes, you can say the principle is the same, but the pawn structures are of course very different. And also in 4-player chess, castling is very risky. Like it's a lot more risky than in regular chess. So step number one, like try to avoid castling unless you have to. And also, I saw that the fianchetto setup is very, very solid and safe. Having the extra like layer of a piece of the bishop in front of your king really helps. So all the good players like went for the fianchetto system for king safety. So that was like the very first initial things, I think. And then as the game progressed, maybe the first year, I think people started being more and more cooperative with the opposite player, like the player on the other side. And that led to like very big discussions in the community, like because it's free for all, so you're not supposed to play the team game. It was very controversial because the problem with it is that it doesn't really break any rules, right? If you just cooperate with another player, then it's like how can you punish this, right? And it just kept increasing. Like some players just did this more and more, and also because it was the rating system that it was, that's like a clear first place, clear second place, clear third place, and a clear fourth place. If you were left in the middle, if the opposite player was knocked out first, then you usually had no chance, because the other two players on the flanks were happy to get first and second place because both were good. So it became quite a cooperative teaming style of game.
Do you remember Moremao, Angelina Kali at that moment? That me and Angelina Kali at a certain moment, in my opinion, we started that thing of cooperation between opposites. or we do it. We started to do it very systematically.
Okay, actually I didn't know about that. Like I knew that Kali did this a lot. Like he was one of the most cooperative players.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember you doing it as much. Actually, I remember you as quite a solid player that didn't go that
Solid
like
player, yes.
aggressively. At least in my games. But well, yeah, I remember some games with both of you, and especially Kali was very aggressive.
Ah, yes.
Which might have been correct in the end, like it turns out, which is interesting. I think on my end, like first of all, I didn't like the cooperative style of play.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want free for all to be like that, and also I didn't really know how to do it because I hadn't learned any of the team tactics yet. I hadn't played teams at all, so I just played like solid openings.
Man, at that point.
It's a word I remember was used a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, the admins decided to make free for all a winner takes all game,
Mm-hmm.
which was around this. It was in December, 2 years ago actually, which changed everything because at that then it was second place and third place both lost ratings, so it was very close to the current solo game that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And this was introduced only in high rank games, but of course that had a very big impact. And lots of players didn't really get this, so lots of people still tried to get second place and lost rating, and just frustrating for everyone except the one that got first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was very impressed when I heard that they were going to make this change, because I hadn't really understood myself that the winner takes all format would be an improvement. But when they said they would make it, I remember Babia Gun said that they were going to change free for all in higher games into winner takes all. I remember I was very, very impressed by that decision, and I really appreciated that decision and liked it. Although the community was very negative, I remember. Most people hated it and thought it was a bad thing that only the first place could get points. But I think it was a positive change. And then it was the first World Championship, which was very exciting, using the winner takes all format, where it was a very solid sort of a style. All the players were very solid. There was very little like teaming cooperation. I think the players still didn't actually take the opposite pieces. Like you still let your opposite player promote, stuff like that. You didn't play against each other, but there was very little active cooperation. And it stayed that way until the summer after that. Free for all was split into two parts: free for all and solo, like it is today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then things started changing a lot. Actually, I remember right after they split free for all into free for all and solo, which meant that solo was winner takes all, and free for all was the same as all free for all, with a clear first place, second place, third place, fourth place. I remember I just played a couple of free for all games, and my flank players were cooperating. I was last place because of it, and I was rather annoyed. And I was annoyed with this decision in general because I knew that free for all that way was basically a team game, like from start to finish. As long as there is a first place and a second place that are both good, you should just play it like a team from start to finish. I was very convinced about this, but I remember after I played those two games, I went for a walk and I was like kind of annoyed because I lost, and I was thinking about it. And at some point, I just got the idea to start playing the team's openings in free for all. Like I never thought about this before because it seemed like such a strange idea, but at that point, I was already a fairly experienced teams player, so I knew the team's openings, and I thought, okay, if I think free for all is teams, I should show it by just starting to play teams openings free for all. Like, why not? And I started doing it, and I think I was pretty much almost the only one doing it, and I lost a ton of games because of it, because it's terrible if your opposite doesn't want to help you, right? But people started realizing, like my opposite started cooperating with me, doing the same thing, and today that's what all the top players are doing. So that was a very, very big change for free-for-all.
So are you saying that were you who started to incorporate teams openings to free-for-all games?
I think I was maybe not the very first, but I was one of the first to do that, and I did it very consistently to make people start doing it. Because I think there are many things we can talk about here. Like, I think one issue right now in free-for-all is that it's really difficult to be blue and green. And it's very nice to be red and yellow. Because blue and green, you're so passive and you just have to like kind of hope you survive. It's very hard to like get any counter play against red and yellow if they play well and play aggressively. That's something I don't really like about free-for-all right now. Also, and the thing is that like if you, let's say you are green and blue doesn't do much and red plays very aggressively against you and you just die, and then it's like minus 50 rating points, like it doesn't feel very, it's not very encouraging for playing the game.
Yes, I agree.
Like I feel like the cases where you lose and there's nothing you can do are too many to be able to perform consistently.